Hi everyone, this is Pete here. So today we're going to go through the latest Tesla shareholder meeting. And for those of you who don't have the time to watch the whole full 2-hour session, I'm going to go through all this in just a couple of minutes. All right. And at the end, I will also talk about my valuation for Tesla and also what are the technical charts telling us about Tesla. Now, let's dive straight into it. Okay, so this was the annual shareholders meeting. It was right after Berkshire Hathaway. Maybe it's by design, I'm not sure. Okay, but one thing is this, mainly it started off talking about sustainability. And I think this is quite key because basically Elon Musk is trying to highlight how sustainable the whole business of Tesla is, and kind of justifying the whole concept about EV being sustainable, right? So my first thing they talk about is they tackle the first problem, which is actually one of my most concerned part about EV, is that, is it sustainable for us to produce so many EVs, because we know that you need to mine a lot of materials such as cobalt, iron, and nickel, right, to make all those batteries. And Elon Musk is basically saying that most of their battery packs right now are iron-based and nickel-based, and there's very few need for rare earth materials such as cobalt, right? And he talked about this where the current mining is actually way more detrimental in terms of fossil fuel burning than future when it's fully sustainable. Now, he didn't go through in details what exactly this means. Does it mean that having a lot of EVs actually is more sustainable, right? It's not very clear, but he's saying that in the future, sustainable economy that Tesla envision is going to be much better. Okay. The next thing is he announced the new next generation drive unit. So this is the one that's going to power the car. And of course, it was highlighted that there's no rare earth needed. And in fact, silicon carbide needed is 70% reduced, and carbon footprint, factory footprint wise, is 50% reduced. And the cost price is really low, right? So basically, Elon Musk is trying to address all the critics' concern about, EV is actually not that environmentally friendly to make, right? So he's saying that with the next generation drive unit, it is going to be much more environmentally friendly. Now, the next thing is he talk about full self-driving, FSD, and he's saying that this chart is just shooting to the sky. In fact, he said that this is likely going to be like a war into the future where it just go all the way up. And this is quite crucial because with more FSD, when they're going to sell it as a subscription and they're going to collect all the information, it's going to make FSD a very, very valuable product, right? A very lucrative product for Tesla, which now actually is not very lucrative yet. Later we'll go through the financials and we'll have it in details, okay? Next thing he highlighted is once again Tesla's strong margin, talking about the margin being at 17%, right, which is actually much higher than any of the car makers out there. But guys, I want to just highlight to you guys is that this is actually not after the price cuts. So after the price cuts, will this drop further? My suspicion is that likely it will. But guess what? It has always been Tesla's goal to go into large production with lower margins. So I don't think this is going to be a problem. But will that hurt finances, hurt margins going forward? I think that will be. Next one is he talk about the global economy, right? This one really caught my attention. So he said that this year, 2023, is going to be tough, but he expects the global economy to turn around in about 12 months' time. So if you take as of the month that he's saying it, that means next year, May, maybe where the whole thing will turn. And he said that with the whole economy turning, Tesla will be in a great position to capitalize on it. And he predicted that based on current data, Model Y is going to be the best-selling vehicle globally, right, in 2023. So let's see, right? As of now, it seems to be the case, but who knows? Maybe other car makers may catch up. But if they can make Model Y the best-selling car, not just in 2023, but in many, many years ahead, wow, then that's going to be really, really powerful for Tesla. So one more thing that he highlighted is that the, the total cost of ownership for EV is actually lesser than ICE car. However, I just want to highlight to all my viewers is that, if you are following Tesla, hopefully you're not just a Tesla hit where everything that Elon Musk says, everything that Tesla says, you just, buy it wholesale. Always be like Charlie Munger. Invert the question. Ask yourself, right? What if it's not true? Okay, so in this case, I invert the question. I say, hey, what if EV really costs more? Because this is the chart that Elon Musk actually shows, right? So he shows that the Model 3 is actually per mile costing about the same as a Toyota Corolla, right? Which is very attractive because Model 3 is actually a much better car than the Corolla, right? But one thing I want you to take note is this. is that the way that it's calculated is slightly misleading. Why do I say that? Because if you look at Toyota Corolla, a lot of the costs are in things that you can actually reduce if you want to. For example, this is insurance, right? This is maintenance cost, and this is fuel, right? So if you kind of travel less, this will be even less, right? But for Model 3, there's a lot of fixed costs upfront. What's the fixed cost? Look at this. The main part, which is the depreciation, tax fee, and financing cost, is much higher than Corolla. That means it costs you more upfront to buy a Model 3, regardless whether you drive it or not. Okay, and of course you can see that the insurance component, right, is huge. It's much larger than a Toyota Corolla. So is this an apple-to-apple comparison? I'm not so sure, right? For example, in Singapore right now, it actually costs way more to buy a Model 3 than to buy a Toyota Corolla. That's for sure, right? But if you ask me per mile cost, then that's different. But if you ask me upfront cost, right now, EV actually still costs more. Okay, so just want to make sure that you guys understood this. The next one that he talked about is EV versus ICE emission. This one, I fully agree. I think in the long run, EV is going to be a much lower emission than the ICE. But that is not counting the emissions that it makes to build the vehicle. So take note, if we add that in, maybe the formula might change, right? And that's my belief as of now. I need to go and find the exact facts, but right now, I believe that, so much materials goes into the EV, the total emissions over lifetime may not actually be lower than ICE cars. Okay, but I could be wrong on this, so please let me know in the comments. And another one announcement that Elon made is about Tesla Semi. So finally, right, they're going to expand Nevada factories to build more Semi, right? They're going to expand a Gigafactory to start the production line for Tesla Semi. So, and I think this is going to be huge because in the US, Semi trucks is actually a huge component of the logistic chain, right? You can see all these trucks here. These are Semis, right, where they will send goods, right, from places that train cannot access, but only trucks like this. So this, I think this is going to add meaningfully to the revenue of Tesla. Next one, Elon Musk basically said that, they have been trying to find a place to get lithium, but they cannot find a good factory for lithium. So what they did is, as Tesla always do, they decided to do it themselves. So they went ahead and built a refinery factory in Texas. All right, this is going to start functioning in the end of this year, and it's going to produce 60 gigawatt per year in terms of the amount of lithium that they're going to produce. So fantastic, right? They're going to kind of really integrate the whole chain, really upstream or downstream. Next one is a new gigafactory in Mexico was announced, right? So they're going to expand not just the lithium production, but the overall car production. And so in Mexico, there's going to be another gigafactory. And one exciting news they talked about was Cybertruck. Now, what about Cybertruck? Basically, finally, they're going to deliver Cybertruck. This has been delayed for so many months and even years. So later this year, they're going to have an event to deliver their Cybertrucks to all the people who bought it. And he mentioned that they should be able to deliver about 250,000 to 500,000 Cybertruck per year once the production has started. So all these have not come into the revenue, right? So the Semi and the Cybertruck, all these have not come into the revenue of Tesla just yet. So pretty exciting. Next thing is, he actually gave a hint that there's going to be 2 new products coming out for Tesla, right? However, he only gave a silhouette, and this is the exact one, but he did not say what it is. Now, my guess is that he's going to produce something like a Model 2, where it's a even smaller compact car to really, target the different segments of the market. So think about it. Right now, Model 3 target the standard saloon, and then you have Model Y, Model X targeting the SUV industry. You have your Semi targeting the big trucks, and then your Cybertruck targeting those like half truck, like the Ford 150 type, right? There isn't a model that kind of target anything smaller than a saloon. So this could be it. And my another guess is perhaps they're going to have maybe a boat or even a motorbike, kind of like a Tesla. I think maybe motorbike might be more possible than a boat in this case. So I think this is my guess for the 2 new products. So very exciting. This was actually teased during the shareholders meeting. And he made a prediction. This is Elon's prediction. He said they're going to make excess of 5 million each year for this. And last thing, he talked about Optimus. And what is Optimus? Not the Transformer Optimus. It's basically the humanoid over here, right? The robot. And he gave a lot of information on this, right? First one is, he said that all these are done in-house. So Tesla basically design and build all the in-house parts, right? Through to Tesla's way of doing things. Secondly, he said that the humanoid is actually a expansion of full self-driving. So think about it. Full self-driving does a specific task, which is driving. But the general AI, which this humanoid will have, can learn and do many things, right? So for example, if you have a humanoid, you can teach them how to cook or how to pack goods, right? Or how to bring the dog for a walk. And you don't have to design and program all this into the humanoid. The humanoid basically has the ability to learn all this. That's why it's called a general AI, a general artificial intelligence. And Elon Musk is saying that this is super extremely underrated. And he predicted that the demand for such a humanoid to ratio of people is that he says at least everyone will want one. So he's saying that by the time the technology come to fruition, the demand might be between 8 to 10 billion units of this. And he believed that in the future, there's going to be much more demand for such humanoid than a car itself. Therefore, he believed that the long-term value, and he said this with extreme confidence, right, that the long-term value of Tesla is going to be largely in this humanoid, Optimus. So this is very interesting, because for those of you who are buying Tesla right now and you tend to hold for long term, then now you must change your thinking. Is that, how do I value Tesla? Because it's no longer the trucks, it's no longer the cars, it's the humanoids here. And that also depends on how much you believe that he can fulfill this dream or this vision of having humanoids running the earth. Okay, so one last thing is, Elon Musk, not in this AGM, but previously on the news, he said that he will step down from Twitter, not being the CEO anymore, right? And he's going to bring in Linda Yaccarino, which is from I think CNBC or NBC or something like that, right? Another news media to run as CEO. And I think this is good news, because that means now Elon Musk can focus back into Tesla, right? And he doesn't have to be distracted by Twitter anymore. Okay, so I think generally this is a good news for all Tesla shareholders. So let me go through the full master plan with you guys once again. What exactly is Elon trying to say, right? If you're now trying to thread the needle, the lines together, right? Basically, the step one is that he's trying to develop electric vehicle, and basically, I think that also helps to develop the battery pack technology. So at the front end, he's basically trying to develop the hardware for Tesla, because you must have the ability to build all the vehicles, you must have the ability to build all the battery. And then phase two is actually not the hardware. It's actually the FSD, the robotaxi, right? All the software involved, right? And when you put all these hardware and software together, right? For example, there are EVs in the factory, it's all done by robots, robotic arms and stuff like that. And your FSD is actually kind of like a specific AI. But your robotaxi could be a semi-general AI, because it's not just driving from point A to point B. Robotaxi has to navigate the whole area. So when you put all these hardware and this software together, the intention for phase 3 is actually very clear. It's Optimus, right? Think about it. All the hardware that this humanoid robot need actually started off from building EVs. And then all the software that you need actually started from FSD and robotaxi. So right now, he has finally revealed his grand plan that the humanoid robot Optimus was actually the end goal, where it's going to be this wonderful assistance to human, that anything that you don't want to be done, like cutting your grass, attending to your dog. Okay, maybe you want to attend to your dog, but other things like packing your house and things like that, right? Or even just driving from point to point B. You may not even need an FSD anymore. You can have a normal car, but maybe the humanoid robot could be your chauffeur. So that is the plan for Elon Musk, is to create this super assistant for everybody. Okay, and with that said, that is the shareholders meeting, right, in a very, very quick fashion. Now, let me go into the finances very quickly before we get too carried away with all these dreams, because being an investor, you don't just focus on what are the potential, but you must look at, hey, what is the current state of affairs, right? So right now, you can see that, automotive sale, right, is still a large part of it. Although, yes, your FSD and your energy is growing as well, but by no means are they bigger than automotive. So even though future is humanoid, but as of now, it is still kind of like 80%, 90% car sales, right? And the thing is, you can see that the free cash flow is kind of not that consistent right now, right? Not very consistent. But the good thing is that Tesla as a company has been building a lot of cash holding. So right now they have about 22 billion in cash, which is much, much healthier than what they had about 2 years ago. Okay. Now, if you look at the finances over here, what I'll do is I will actually take the operating cash flow over here, right? Net cash provided by operating activity. And what I did was I kind of analyze it to say that, hey, Tesla maybe makes about 13 billion to 14 billion. Okay. So even if I assume that they're going to develop the humanoid and stuff like that, I have to assign a kind of growth rate. So guys, what I did here is that I did a discounted cash flow calculator. Okay. And what I did is I say that, hey, I think this company, Tesla, is going to grow at 25% for the next 10 years. And then after the 10 years, they will kind of like reach a plateau and continue to grow for another 20 years and growing at 4%. So you may or may not agree with this assumption, but guess what? If you're an investor, you have to give some kind of assumption when you're going to value a company. And I feel that even by my assumption, this is already quite aggressive. Why? Because I don't care if you're building humanoid or insects, but 25% for 10 years each is a very, very big growth rate already. A very, very fast growth rate as well. And I'm assuming that the company in totality can survive for 30 years, right? And more, right? So I'm giving it a 4% for terminal value. So even when I calculate all this in, right, I'm getting the fair value of only $167. And right now, what is the share price? The share price is actually only 166. So if you ask me, based on my projection, which is kind of aggressive already, is already fair value. That means if Tesla were to underperform and not do 25% for 10 years, maybe they only did 25% for 9 years, then this would actually right now be overvalued. Okay, so that is my thinking when I come into valuation, is that I don't need to be specifically correct. I don't need a specific number, but I just need to know that, okay, based on my assumption, is it overvalued, undervalued in the ballpark figure? And I feel that right now, even with my aggressive estimate, Tesla seems to be just fair value. Okay, so this is the valuation now. With that said, let me show you guys in terms of technical analysis where Tesla is right now. So this is Tesla chart, and you can see that, wow, for the last 1.5 years, oh my goodness, Tesla has been coming down, right, relentlessly. And right now, you can see that there's a very strong resistance, right, on the 200 moving average. So right now, it is still kind of on a downtrend. So on a TA level, it doesn't seem that great. Okay, but if you actually bought in at the bottom here when it's about $100, then kudos to you. You are up like 70%. Otherwise, really, right now, I feel that on the fundamental front and the technical front, Tesla doesn't scream a lot of value at this point in time. Okay, now I know out there are a lot of Tesla bulls who may disagree with me. That's fine, right? That's the whole point about investing, is to have a discussion. And let me know, guys, what do you think about Tesla? Do you learn something from what Elon said? Is there anything else that kind of piqued your interest and say that, hey, Pete, you didn't mention about this, right? Put it in the comments, and I would love to engage you guys. All right, so this is my very quick, less than 20-minute video to share with you the 2-hour video that Elon Musk did on the Tesla shareholder meeting. Okay, so hope you guys like the content, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.